The Street Kid and the Lost Billionaire. How a 12 years old street kid helped a confused elderly man find his way home. What happened next changed everything. I saw him before anyone else did, or maybe I was just the only one who looked. It was a Tuesday, 4:47 p.m. downtown intersection, rush hour, rain coming down so hard you could barely see across the street. And there he was, this old man in an expensive suit, soaking wet, turning in circles like the world had rearranged itself and forgotten to tell him, silver hair plastered to his head. Designer suit that probably cost more than most people make in a month, now dripping onto Italian leather shoes. He had this briefcase in one hand, and with the other, he kept patting his chest. Not like he was having a heart attack, like he was checking to make sure his heart was still there. Dozens of people flowing past him, around him, like water around a rock. Not one person stopped. I watched him for maybe 30 seconds, watched him turn that slow circle again, watched his lips moving, talking to himself. And I heard my mom's voice in my head clear as day, even though she'd been gone 2 years. Marcus, when you've got nothing, kindness is the only thing you can give that makes you rich. I'm going to tell you what happened next, but first I need you to do something for me. Drop a comment right now and tell me, have you ever had to choose between your own safety and helping a complete stranger? Have you ever given up something you desperately needed for someone else? Let me know below because I want to hear your stories. And listen, if you want to find out how this ends, and trust me, you absolutely do, you need to hit that subscribe button right now. Because what happens next, I still can't believe it happened. Even though I lived it. Subscribe, I'll wait. I had 12 minutes to get to the youth shelter before all the beds filled up. 12 minutes between sleeping on a cot or sleeping in the metro station again. But something in the way that old man touched his chest made me stop. My name is Marcus. I'm 12 years old. And what I'm about to tell you is the absolute truth. This is the story of how I lost everything and found everything in the same 47 days. And it started with a decision I made in the rain. Let me paint you the picture of who I was that Tuesday. I just finished a 6-hour shift washing dishes at Lou's Diner on 9th Street, had $23 in tips in my pocket. That was a good day for me. I was wearing an oversized jacket someone donated to the shelter, sneakers with holes I'd patched with duct tape, and everything I owned was in the backpack on my shoulders. I'd been living on the streets for 14 months, since I was 11 years old. But we'll get to that part. Right then, standing in that rain, looking at that confused old man, I had a choice to make. And I want you to understand something. This wasn't some easy, feel-good choice. This was, do I help this stranger and sleep on cold concrete tonight? Or do I walk away and get the last bed at the shelter? I circled him first. That's what you do when you live on the streets, you observe. You make sure something isn't a trap, isn't dangerous, isn't going to get you hurt. What I saw, not drunk, not high, not aggressive, just lost, genuinely, terrifyingly lost. And he had a medical alert bracelet on his wrist. I noticed that. I took a breath. Walked up to him. Sir? Sir, are you looking for someone? He turned to me, and when his eyes focused on my face, I saw something I recognized. Relief. The kind of relief you feel when you've been drowning and someone finally throws you a rope. Young man, he said, and his voice was educated, formal, the kind of voice that's used to boardrooms and important meetings. I seem to have misplaced myself. Misplaced himself. That's exactly what he said. Are you hurt, sir? I asked. No, I was at a meeting, the Weston Building, do you know it? I knew it. The big glass tower 4 blocks east. Yes, sir, that's back that way. But I came out and... He looked around, and I watched fear creep into his eyes like water seeping under a door. Nothing looked right. I tried to call Margaret, my daughter, but my phone. He patted his pockets. Empty. I don't have it. Do you know your address, sir? And this is the moment I knew something was really wrong. His face changed. He opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. I live at... Long pause. His hand went back to his chest. I've lived there for 30 years. Why can't I... He couldn't finish the sentence. I'd seen this before. Mrs. Chen at the shelter some days she couldn't remember if she'd eaten breakfast. Some days she called me by her son's name, and when you corrected her, she'd get this look on her face like the ground had disappeared beneath her feet. This old man had that look. His hands started to shake. The rain was getting worse. Temperature dropping. I checked my watch 4:54 p.m., 36 minutes until the shelter closed. Here's what I knew. If I didn't get there in time, I was sleeping in the metro station. Again. Last time I did that, someone stole my blanket while I was in the bathroom. I woke up at 2 a.m. shaking so hard I thought my teeth would crack. Here's what I also knew. His man was in trouble. Real trouble. So I made a choice that would change my entire life. I just didn't know it yet. "Come on, sir," I said. "Let's get you somewhere dry and figure this out." I took off my jacket, the only warm thing I owned, and I put it over his shoulders. He looked at me. This old man in his expensive suit, looking at a 12-year-old street kid, and tears came to his eyes. "You're very kind, young man," he whispered. I led him to the 24-hour pharmacy 2 blocks away. There's an awning there, and I knew the security guard, Ray. He'd let us stay for a bit. Under that awning, while the rain drummed overhead, I helped the old man find his wallet. He had it in his inside jacket pocket. He'd just forgotten it was there. Inside, $340 cash, several black credit cards, and business cards that said Whitmore and Associates. "Is this where you work, sir?" I asked. Yes, I do." But he said it like he wasn't quite sure. Then I checked his medical alert bracelet. I had to lean close to read the engraving in the dim light. Robert Whitmore, memory impairment, call Margaret with a phone number. And below that, 2847 Riverside Estates Drive. Riverside Estates. I knew that address. That was the rich part of town, the gates, the security, the houses you only see in magazines. This man had money, real money, and he was standing under a pharmacy awning with a homeless kid, unable to remember his own address. "Mr. Whitmore," I said gently, "I'm going to call your daughter, okay? The number on your bracelet. She's probably worried about you." "Margaret," he said, and his whole face changed when he said her name. "Yes. Call Margaret. She'll be so worried." Now here's the problem. I didn't have a phone, but Ray, the security guard, he knew me. I helped him once when some kids were shoplifting and he was outnumbered. He let me use the pharmacy's phone. I dialed the number on the bracelet. Hands shaking a little, I'm not gonna lie. It rang 4 times, 5, 6. Then voicemail. "You've reached Margaret Whitmore, CEO of Whitmore Global Industries. Please leave a message." This man's daughter was a CEO. Then, here's what happened. I left a message. I tried to sound older than 12, tried to sound responsible. Hello, Ms. Whitmore. My name is Marcus. I'm with your father, Robert. He's okay, but he's confused and he was lost downtown. We're at the CVS pharmacy on 8th and Hamilton. He's safe. I'll stay with him until you call back." I gave her the pharmacy number and hung up. Then I sat down next to Mr. Whitmore on the bench under that awning and I waited. 5:23 p.m., the shelter would close in 37 minutes. I wasn't making it. I knew that now. That bed was gone. Mr. Whitmore must have seen something in my face. He turned to me and said, "You're missing something, aren't you? I can tell." "It's okay, sir." "No, what are you missing for?" I looked at this old man, and something about the way he asked, not like he was being nosy, but like he genuinely cared, made me tell him the truth. "A bed tonight," I said. "But there'll be other nights." His eyes went wide. "A bed? You mean you don't have—" He really looked at me then, really saw me. The worn clothes, the wet hair, the backpack with everything I owned. "How old are you, son?" 12, sir." 12? He said it like the word hurt him. "Where are your parents?" "It's just me now, sir." And this old man, this confused stranger who couldn't remember his own address, reached out and grabbed my hand. "Just you," he said, "and you're here, with me. You gave up your bed for me." I didn't know what to say to that. We sat there for another 18 minutes. He got tired, his head started to nod, and I let him lean on my shoulder. Ray brought us both hot chocolate from inside. I shared mine with Mr. Whitmore because his hands were shaking too much to hold the cup steady. At 5:41 p.m., the phone inside the pharmacy rang. Ray stuck his head out. "It's for you, kid." I ran inside, picked up the phone. "Hello?" "This is Margaret Whitmore." The voice was tight, controlled, professional, barely holding it together. "You have my father?" "Yes, ma'am. He's right here. He's safe." And I heard her through the phone, crying now, words tumbling out. "I've had 12 people searching for 3 hours. The police are looking." "Marcus?" Her voice came through. "Is that your name?" "Yes, ma'am." "How old are you, Marcus?" 12, ma'am." Long pause. I could hear her breathing, trying to steady herself. "You're 12 years old, and you've been keeping my father for almost an hour." "Yes, ma'am, he's okay."